Welcome to Art Time! Today, insect art. This is what you'll need. 2 or 3 pieces of white paper, pastels or crayons, watercolor paints, a paintbrush, a pair of scissors, and a glue stick, and most importantly, your imagination. Hi boys and girls, welcome to Art Time. Today we are going to make some fun insect art. Remember, our insects are insects because they have a head and thorax, abdomen, 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 head and thorax, abdomen, 6 legs, antennas. All right, so to get going, you're going to need a piece of paper to start with. So here is my paper. We're going to start with a leaf, okay? So a leaf, we're going to first do the top of our leaf with a line that looks like that. It kind of looks like an upside down U. Then we're going to start, and we're going to want it to be kind of pointy on that side. See that? We're going to go back to where we started and then make a stem, just like that. All right, and now if you've ever looked at a leaf, you'll notice that a leaf has veins in it. That's how the water and the nutrients get to the very tippy part of all the leaves. So what you're going to do is you're going to start here by the stem, and you're going to draw a line up to the top, and then from that you're going to draw some lines going from that center vein out to the edges of your leaf. If you want, you can even go and find a leaf outside and then draw the veins that you see on that leaf. Okay, next, what we want to do is you want to get some crayons or some pastels. I'm going to use pastels. So pastels, I think we use these in kindergarten already. They're like paints that are oil. So they're kind of like crayons, but they give kind of a brighter color. So I'm just going to go, I'm going to push hard. Oh, I just broke my pastel. That's okay, I can still use it. I'm going to trace over every line I see. Until I have all my lines colored. Okay, next you're going to need some watercolor paints. I'll be right back. I just have to grab some water. I forgot my water. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with I got some water from my paintbrush and I got some green paint. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paintbrush, I'm gonna make it wet, swirl it in my green watercolor paints. You can just get some watercolor paints at the dollar store. They come in a fun little set. You can do lots of crafts with them. They last quite a long time too. So I'm gonna take my green and I'm going to paint my leaf green. Okay. What's really fun about oil pastels or crayons, when you paint over them with watercolor, they act kind of like a dam, like a beaver's dam, and they don't let the paint and the water kind of sink on top of them. It kind of makes it so that the water stays inside of where you have put the pastels. So there is my green leaf. Okay, then I'm going to set my green leaf aside so it can dry. And now we are going to start on our insect. Okay, so I have a new piece of paper here. And for my insect, remember, how many body parts does an insect have? 3, right? Head and thorax, abdomen, 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 head and thorax, abdomen, 6 legs, antennas. Okay, so we're going to start with our abdomen. We're going to draw, because the abdomen of an insect is actually quite a bit bigger than the other parts. So I'm going to start with 1 circle for my abdomen. Okay, and then I'm going to put a smaller circle for my thorax. And then you can choose how big you want your head to be. I'm going to make another circle for my head. See that? Okay, now I'm going to do kind of what I did for the leaf, I'm going to take my pastels, and this time you can be so creative, boys and girls. Don't just copy what I do. You choose your own colors and you choose what you want to do. So I'm going to pick some orange. I'm going to start by outlining or tracing my abdomen. And I'm going to choose another color. This time I'm going to choose blue for my thorax. Okay. Now, boys and girls, for this art project, we're not actually going to color all in with our pastels and crayons. We're going to use paint to color it. And I'm going to do red for my, I think that will. These will be insects like you've never seen before. Okay, so there, that's what I did. Now I'm going to make them look a little bit more fun. Okay, so now I'm going to take on my abdomen, and I'm going to do some little squiggly circles. That looks like fun to me. Some squiggly circles. And do some different patterns. Oh, I'm going to take some of my blue. I'm going to make some polka dots. Make some polka dots. Make some polka dots. Yellow. I'm going to do some yellow lines on here too. So boys and girls, you can just be creative and draw, kind of just doodle on your insect. Okay? And then I think I'm going to use my yellow on my thorax. I'm just going to do some stripes. I think that'll look pretty good. Okay? And then on my head, I have to make sure that the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some eyes. Okay? And it looks like I have a black crayon. So what I'm going to do is with my eyes, I'm going to trace that in a black. You don't have a black crayon, maybe you have a black marker. Okay. So there's that. And then, because the eyes are empty, remember we've talked about how we need pupils in our eyes. Even bugs have pupils. Okay. So I'm going to make some pupils. And you know what? I want the pupils on my insect's head to be blue. So I'm just going to color in this blue. I'm going to leave around it white just because I like that. But if you wanted, you could color the other area a different color too. It's your insect. You get to choose what you want to do for it. Okay. And I want pink because I love the color pink. And I'm just going to, what should I do? I am going to make some zigzags. That's kind of a fun thing to do. Make some zigzags. Isn't that cute? All right, so there's my insect. I didn't color it in with my crayons. Now I'm going to take my paintbrush and I have some different colors. Paint is looking a little messy, but that's okay. So, for my thorax, I think I'm just gonna paint it orange. So what's really fun is now I can take my paints and I can just go over top of everything that I draw, and you see how the oil pastel, it repels the water so it doesn't stick on top of it. Isn't that neat? Because boys and girls, oil and water don't mix. If you were to take some vegetable oil that your parents use for cooking, and you were to mix it with oil, you could shake it and it would mix for a second. But then if you left it, you would notice that the oil will rise to the top and the water will stay on the bottom because they don't like to mix. That could be a fun little experiment at home to see what things mix. Okay, so I'm done. I'm going to clean off my brush, and then I'm going to get some blue, and I want to paint my thorax blue. See that? And then I have purple. I really like purple, so I think I'm actually going to paint the head purple, even though I outlined it in red. That's okay if I don't make it match perfectly. I'm going to be very careful by the eyes that I don't want to paint anything. I just said I didn't want to get any paint on the white part of my eye. So I'm just being very careful and going around and making sure that I don't get my paint there. All right, so there is my insect so far. See that? Now, we have our head, our thorax, our abdomen. Another reason why we know that it is an insect is because of its legs. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 6 legs. Okay, I'm going to make my 6 legs. I'm just going to choose a pastel color. Okay. I'm going to make my legs red. So for the legs, I'm just going to start by the body and I'm going to go up and then over. You know what? I'm going to make them really thick because you're going to want to make them thick because we're going to cut these out. And I'm going to put a little foot on it too. And I need 3 on each side. All right, so I'm going to go. So I make 1. So the first part of my leg, kind of like a thigh. If you look at your thigh and then it's like a knee bend. And then you can go another way. Okay. And then put a foot on it. And I'm going to do 1 more leg on that side. And then my insect needs 3 legs on the other side. I'm going to do the same thing going down this time. I'm going to make my thigh part of the leg. I'm going to make another leg. And you know what? You just try your best. If you want, you can draw with a pencil first and then go over it with your crayons. Okay. So there is my 6 legs. Okay, I'm gonna wait to do my antennas. If you have, because I don't have room on my paper to draw that anymore, if you had room, you could draw that onto your paper and then cut it out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my insect, and you at home, I would probably let it dry for a little bit, okay? Because it might rip, but because I don't have that much time, I'm just gonna start cutting my insect out. I'm gonna cut right along the legs. That's why, boys and girls, you will probably want to make sure that you do your legs nice and thick so that it's easier to cut, because things that are really skinny, sometimes when we cut, we make a mistake and we accidentally snip off a leg. And you know what, that's okay if that happens, because you can just glue it on when we put it onto our leaf after. But it makes things easier if you just make them nice and thick so that you can cut them out. Okay? So I'm just going to keep cutting here. Okay, so there is my insect all cut out. So now I'm going to take my leaf. I'm going to put my leaf down, and I'm going to take some glue, just a normal glue stick, and I'm going to put glue on my head and my thorax and my abdomen. Now, you can put it onto your legs as well, but I like my legs to kind of jiggle free a little. So there. So when I lift them up, the legs kind of jiggle a little bit. I think that's kind of fun. But if you want, you can glue down your legs. It's your art. You make that decision. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I need to make what am I missing? Head, thorax, abdomen, 6 legs, and antennas. Right. Let's make our antennas. Antennas are pretty easy. I'm just going to pick a color. I'm going to do dark blue for my antennas. I'm just going to go from the top of my head, make my antennas going up. And you know, I think it's pretty cute when they have a little ball on the top. Okay, so we need 2 antennas. There we go. Look how cute he is. All right, now one more thing. If you are happy with your insect that just crawls around, that is totally fine. That's up to you. But if you want wings on your insect, you can just grab another piece of paper And this time we're going to draw wings. Okay, so I'm just going to start with like a little line. See that? And then I'm going to make a circle going off, kind of like a flower petal. See that? Then I'm going to do just one more of those. I'm going to try to make them the same size, but you know what, boys and girls, it's your art. You make it however you want. Then I'm going to do what I did earlier. You know what, I'm going to use gray this time, but you can choose any color. You can even make yours, I don't know, purple. That would be really pretty on it too. But you know what, I'm just going to leave my wings like that. And I think that's all I'm going to do. If you want, you can make designs in your wings. It's totally what you want to do. You can be as creative as you want. Okay, and then it's just a matter of cutting them out. Do your careful cutting. Try to stay on the outside of your pastels. Okay. Now remember, pastels are messy. So as you're doing this, you need to, if you're using pastels, you need to make sure that you have on a paint shirt or something, and make sure that you don't touch your clothes, because oil pastels don't come out of clothes. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my wings and I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on the bottom of my wings, where that straight line is. I'm not going to put glue on the whole thing. I'm going to stick it on. I'm going to kind of bend it a little bit so that it sticks up. See that? I'm going to put glue on the other side by that line. Not gluing the whole thing, unless you want to. If you want them to be stuck down, you can do that. And I'm going to give it a little bend. And look at my cute insect. I don't know what kind of insect it is. It's definitely not a bee. It's definitely not anything. It is just an insect of my imagination. All right, God gave us wonderful imaginations, boys and girls. I want you to use them to create your own special insect artwork. I hope you had fun doing this. I can't wait to see your creations. Bye now.